Hello, Keon here, and this is a quick introduction to DashGL.com. So DashGL.com is a tutorial site for game programming in Linux, specifically in C with OpenGL and GTK. So that's kind of a mouthful, but to kind of explain each one, specifically why C. There are a lot of different programming languages, and generally most of them will have different quirks. You know, Objective-C, C++, Java, and they all have their individual language quirks, and if you wrote in either one of them, you could have just written in either one of them, oh, why doesn't this support my language? C, I think, is the most kind of like basic of all computer language. There's a small subset of words that are actually used to make it up, so it's kind of incumbent on the person reading it to understand the mechanics of what's going on, rather than why isn't this written in my language. So most of the time I write JavaScript at my main job, but I dedicate my time to learning C at home because I think it's the lingua franca of programming. Why Linux? Linux specifically it's universal. If I were to do game programming on Windows or Mac, then there's the various intricacies of setting up the environment to work in those, but anyone can pick up a Raspberry Pi, anyone can install Linux on an old computer, so the idea is it's the same environment, it's available to everyone. And the last one is kind of the most difficult, is why GTK specifically. And in terms of GTK and, well, more generally OpenGL, there's a lot of different window libraries. Basically the outline of the window is what the library is doing. There's different libraries that do that. There's FreeGlut, which is a very, very simple, quick, and effective library that you start it and it does what it does and you're done. GLFW is similar. It just opens up a window. That's it. You're good to go. SDL is the most commonly used OpenGL window library out there, and it runs for everything. And there's a lot of good points to using it. Specifically, the reason it lost out to GTK is because GTK is multi-purpose. You can add different widgets, you can add different windows, and so in terms of debugging and picking up and learning it, I thought that GTK would be a much better fit. And once you learn GTK, porting something to SDL once you've gotten a hand of OpenGL is not that difficult. So, well, I wouldn't say not, depends on what you're doing, but once you have a hand on, OpenGL and GTK specifically, then it's possible to go back and port what you're working on to SDL if that's specifically what you want to do. So GTK is more specifically because it's multi-purpose, multifaceted, and then you can go back and either expand out into other things or port to another window library if that's specifically what you're doing. So right now there's 3 tutorials. There's Breakout, which just makes a very simple Breakout clone. There's Invaders, which makes a very, very simple Invaders clone, Space Invaders clone. And then there's Asteroids, which makes a very, very simple Asteroids clone. And it goes through step by step on how to do them. And I will hopefully be making webcasts of each of these as I go along. I'm working on other projects. I'll be working on more tutorials in 2018, and I hope to bring you more content. So this is just a quick introduction. See you guys soon.